Hello, and welcome to Republic of Pirates. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. It's a settlement game with a pirate theme. Now, what I've got here is just a demo, so I'm just gonna have a brief play of this game for the sake of getting to see what it's like and letting you make up your own mind. So, basically I've played it before, just to get a feel for it, and with it being a demo, there's only so much you can do, and it's campaign driven. In other words, it's not like a completely open-ended game, or at least as far as this demo, in that there's a backstory, there's a quest, there's a story to be done here. And I do like that in games, I must admit. Makes it different. I do quite like stories within games. Anywho, click on campaign, and we've got a choice of difficulties. So, well, default is medium. Then you've got like the story mode, which is the easy mode basically. Then if you want, you can go all the way up to hard mode. So it affects sort of like resources that you get at the start and so on. So I'm just going to go with the default option since it's a demo, and as you can see, we've got a map, an archipelago here, and that's kind of gives the impression that there might be more maps to play, but again, this is just a demo. I can only just hazard a guess, and we don't have a choice of where we can start on this map, but that might change in future with an actual released game. And you can see there's certain resources that you've got access to, certain resources that you certainly don't have access to on this specific island. So I quite like that, it gives you a bit of a different way to play, I suppose. Even if you were just stuck with one map, you can try things out based on, what's it like if I've only got these resources and so on. So anyway, click on start.
Greed. It tears us all down eventually. Heck, that's what this is all about. We rob, we plunder, we kill. All for a bit more wealth and another day of freedom. But we all know the truth. There's only one way out of this pirate life. And if it's not at the end of a rope, it's usually a shot in the back from a pistol of a crewmate. The Republic of Pirates was meant to be different. But the greed got to them too. Turning on one another like that. Damn shame what they did to your old man. And now they're carving up the archipelago between the three of their crews. Lucky Jack Howell and the self-proclaimed Raiders of the Caribbean. Scar and his gallows men. And Matilda Barbero, leader of Los Guerreros. They had it all. Spanish gold by the galleon and a nice slice of the Caribbean to call home. They couldn't play nice, could they? Well, if it's revenge you want, I'm with you. I owe your old man that much. We're one ship against 3 fleets, but they aren't expecting us. We'll make for the archipelago and set up on an isolated island before they get wind of our intentions. Revenge for your father, and the chance to build something better.
So that's the backstory.
This is the archipelago, all right, but it's far too dangerous to continue out in the open. Let's stick to the shallows for now.
Right, well, I've decided I don't want to do that, but apparently I don't have a choice. It's my only option is to just carry on. So, we're just starting off with a little ship here. Yeah, you get some interesting little pirate shanties every time you're clicking on these little boats that you get. But you've got a series of quests, and that's what it's about. You get quests to do. Things that I'm going to point out is if we go into like settings, you can change your resolutions and so on. Some gameplay settings here. Input in terms of you're getting details about all of the keys that you've got. And one thing I can see is, yeah, like control save as if you want to do a quick save. It's got auto save in it, but it's got a quick save. If I scroll down, you can see the number keys have been assigned to certain buildings. This is part of like the building, because you build, well, buildings. That I found was a bit tricky because you're going to get ships, and I would like to have basically been able to group them. So that's something I've kind of run into where I can't find a way to like group things together. Extras at the moment is just credits, but at least it's telling you what you can do here. I mean, out of curiosity, oh yeah, you can rotate the screen if you want. It's assigned to the dot and the /. Oh, it's out of curiosity. Aha, right. That's good. So that's something I was curious about. Can I reassign these keys? And it looks like you can. So that is a good thing to see. You've also got a knowledge hub, so it tells you about things. So that's quite useful to have. But you've also got the tutorial, so I quite like that, I must admit. Anywho, we'll grab our little ship here, because what you've got to do is go and pick up debris. And it's pretty easy to move around. You just, you know, click a ship here, right click, and they'll go there. So that's pretty straightforward. And you can zoom in and out with a third mouse wheel. So we're very much like driven by the quest line here in terms of what you can and cannot do. So it's not like open-ended and that you can just go up and do as you please, which makes sense really, because it is a campaign. But I'm still going to pick up bits and pieces, because we're picking up money and we're picking up resources, which, well, it is a settlement game, so the idea is you want to collect those sort of things. One thing I'll warn of in advance is there are times where there's swearing involved, which, to be fair, you would expect from pirates, but you know, just be warned. Oh no! It's a pirate ship! With pirates being chased by pirates. That's not good. Haha! Shiver me timbers! Well, that's
that was
embarrassing.
A close call. The archipelago's in chaos after the collapse of the Republic. We'd better hunker down on Galley Island for now. Come up with a plan. Let's start with a dock to house our supplies.
Well, actually, I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. Oh, hold on. Apparently I can't. Okay, fair enough. I'll click on accept them. So, that's the starting point. We're on an island. Now, at this moment, I can't... Oh, yeah, we're starting to get quite a lot of tutorial stuff here about... I've noticed that one there, it's saying seafair. Yet down here, it's seafaring. Again, it's just a demo, just to point it out, by the way. But it's... I quite like these tutorials. I mean, if you're into that sort of stuff, it is quite helpful. It literally steers you through doing all this. But there is an option. I mean, you can disable that. Show tutorials, show hints. So, yeah, that's quite useful. I quite like that, I must admit, in a game. So anyway, we need to build a dock to get started, and that's all we can do at this stage. And you can see, this is one of these types of buildings where I don't have any other option. I've got to put it there. So it's giving you that blue highlight there, if you will, of where the ship dockyard's got to go. So, and you'll notice it didn't...
If we want to take the fight to our old companions, we'll need men. There are plenty of rough and ready types looking for work, so long as we give them somewhere to stay and something to do.
Okay, so it didn't give me like a slow process where things were being built. It's just, you know, as long as you've got the resources, it just gets built and that's it. And it's, you know, it's not time delayed, it's just built, that's it. So, yeah, there's quite a few games do it that way. So I suppose it depends on your gameplay style, what you like. But again, we've got a series of quests, that's what we're doing. I mean, let's see if we've got all these options up here. We're getting told like how much money we've got. how many resources we've got for needs and wants, resources for intermediary materials, resources for building. Incidentally, if you've actually got any resources, you just click on them and it actually shows you what all those resources are, which is quite useful. And you've got like details about our actual workers. We're not into diplomacy, you don't get that in the actual demo, but apparently you'll be getting that. But this is what I was interested in, quests. So we've got our main quests, we've got side quests and so on. So it's, yeah, it's very much, you're kind of like driven by the storyline here, at least in this demo that I've got. So what we've got to do to begin with is build 5 huts, and we've got to connect them to the dock. So there are different ways you can do it. I mean, you can just click on infrastructure, for instance, just like the dirt road, but there is a bit of a shortcut as well. If I press the Q key, you get this radial wheel. So that one's to repair things, downgrade things, upgrade things, demolish things. As far as I'm aware, if you demolish a building, you get all the resources back. It's not one of these games where you build something and then, actually I want to put that somewhere else. You can't move it afterwards. So you might want to be a bit careful in your decisions, but since you get all of your resources back anyway, I mean, really doesn't matter. You can just build a completely new building. It doesn't take like a long time to do it, as long as you got the resources. So what you could do is just literally build a house somewhere, and then you can like, oh well, actually I want that somewhere else. You just destroy your original house, build a new house. It's pretty simple. So anyway, we're just getting started. So we've been able to build the dock, the road, and now we can build huts. So all of this game, I must have find, is most of it is pretty intuitive. I find it's pretty easy to do, and I do like that in the game. Now I've got to be mindful of where I can build, but it's just one of those things you just play it by ear. So it says we want 5 huts, so I'm going to build these here and here. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap for a road. You'll see how you've got these little, yeah, it tells you about certain buildings that you've got to have and how they're affected by range and so on. Anything that's too far away, it starts to go yellow, or there's just nothing. Anything that's close by and will be affected, it's green. But you notice how you get these little floating status symbols above. So at the moment it's just complaining that, oh, you know, these aren't connected to a road. So that's got them now connected to a road. And it's interesting, you don't see anybody about like building them. It just, that's it. It just builds a place and that's it. So now it's saying it wants a marketplace. So that comes under amenities. So we click on that and we'll see that. So when we touch it to the road, it's showing you that, like, just the actual distance. Like I was saying, how these buildings, these little houses we've got here, their road is green, whereas down here it's like an amber orange colour, so it's kind of like a bit too far. So yeah, there is quite a bit of a planning to all this stuff, but the trouble is we're so early in, you don't know what it is coming down the line, which can trip you up, I suppose. So these are just things to bear in mind. Like I say, I mean, you can't, if I click on the actual building, I can't tell it to move somewhere else. I can't ask it to say, oh, actually I want that building over there, for instance. I'd have to build a new house, delete that one. But it's just done so quickly that it may not matter until you get to the next phase, which is you can upgrade these houses, and you have to do that because of these. You're starting off with labourers. Certain professions need hired hands, some are going to need smiths, some are going to need artisans. It's all about fulfilling wants, needs, and all sorts. It's very detailed in terms of the game, I must admit. So it's very in-depth, and I do like that. But anyway, we're following a little storyline. So it's saying that we need to retrieve the debris. Right, so they're off singing their sea shanties again. Retrieve the debris from the sunken ship. Right, so we've got to go and grab that. And Jim lad. So all we've got at this stage though is a little cog. It's just a basic ship. It doesn't really do much. One thing I find interesting about the game, I must admit, is you've actually got captains. and they've all got experience. They gain experience from battles they take on, which is quite cool. That's unusual in a game, and I do like that. The fact that, I mean, you've got all these stats for what the ship is capable of, its range, its damage, and so on. Each different type of ship gets a speciality. But the captains themselves, they've all got a certain specialities. I mean, like this particular Jack Stratford here, it says like when he gets to about level 20, he's going to have a random chance to fire 2 cannon shots in quick succession. And then there's skills he gets at level 30, skills at level 40. So it's quite interesting that the whole idea of the XP, I'm going to assume, means that, you know, when you're taking your pirate ships into battle and you start taking on other ships, that they'll get better than if you just leave them stuck at, say, like a level 1. So technically I need to put this figurehead down. I'm just going wandering around picking up debris at the minute, and every so often you'll get debris shows up in this little area, and it's kind of a useful way to get like your resources. It's definitely a good way to get the money, for instance. Anyway, we're going to head back here. So it's saying we need to build figurehead. So that comes under decorations. So this is the only decoration we've got, which is figurehead from that ship. So I don't know if it has any effect. It doesn't. I mean, I've got it touching the road, but it doesn't seem to do anything as such. Now, the one thing I can't find is how to rotate. Right, it says there, press E to rotate. I would suggest paying attention to these that are coming up, because I completely forgot about that. I was scratching my head for ages later on, trying to think, how on earth can I like rotate these? We go into settings, input. Yeah, I could not find that. I could not find that key. That was driving me bonkers for ages. Because what I found was that if I rotate the screen, sometimes, yeah, at the moment it's facing in that direction. Now it's facing in that direction. So I was doing that. I kept rotating the screen for ages until I could get the actual building to face in the direction I wanted. And incidentally, one thing I've noticed is this is my, if I press in and hold the middle mouse key, it's rotating way too quick for me. I mean, I'm going to get seriously dizzy doing that. It's better with the dot and the or full stop and the forward slash I found, but yeah. So that's something, I don't know why that key, the E key, isn't in the list, because I completely forgot about that, but that's good now that I've seen it again. So I'm going to put that there.
Salvaging materials from wrecks is good and all, but we've got plenty of resources at our fingertips on the island too. We'll need a steady supply of wood for what's to come.
Okay, so we need to build a woodcutter's lodge and a sawmill. So that comes under construction. So it's interesting, you've got like a bit of depth to some of these buildings. Like the marketplace is just depth 1. Then we're getting stuff to do with building the actual logs and the planks that you get. So yeah, we've got to build a woodcutter's lodge and a sawmill that goes with it. Now, I've seen this in other games where you get a sort of like a figure there where it's telling you how effective that building's going to be. It's like as I get closer and closer to the road there and further away from the trees, we're getting less and less efficient. So these are things you have to bear in mind. Since the market's on that side, I think out of curiosity I'm going to build this over here. So yeah, so I can still rotate it as well. Yeah, I'm glad I found that actually. And then it gives you different details more information about these buildings as you go along, which, you know, for some people that's helpful. As it says there, you've got to need access to the resources to be able to do this. So if I put in a road, this is something to bear in mind though. In this case we're okay. Sometimes you can build the road in, because you've got to touch the road to be able to actually do anything. But sometimes you can build that road and you're going to lose some of your efficiency. And then you've got, at the moment what we've got is, if you click on the building, you see there's somebody is actually taking that log and they're taking it all the way down to the dock. Now we'll get warned about that shortly, but anyway, what I need to do is build the actual sawmill. Now by putting the sawmill down here, you can see we're impacting the actual the log. What's that log? The woodcutter. So it's in my interests to put this a bit further away. So if I put that, say, there, it doesn't affect anybody from what I can tell. It doesn't like put people off. So it's not one of those kind of settlement builders.
You should set a couple of the lads to moving goods from place to place. It's more efficient to dump materials at a depot so they don't have to carry them so far.
Yeah, so as I was saying, what you've got is, you've got our loggers over here. What they're doing is they're getting logs and they're taking them all the way down to the actual dock. But what it's saying is they want to build an actual depot. Now that comes under infrastructure. So what I can do is I can put that. I would have loved to put it there, but it's going to impact the efficiency of the logger. So I'm just going to put it over here. Oh, I can rotate that, can't I?
The more we provide for our workers, the happier they'll be. The happier they are, the more they'll contribute. Cutthroat pirates have needs too, you know.
Yeah, so they've got needs and wants. And this is all part of like the upgrade process. So at the moment we've just got 25 of a potential 50 labourers, for example. Right, so what's going on at the minute? Porters, blah blah blah. Yeah, so this is just telling us about what the depots do. So basically what you've got is these porters who work over here, they're going all the way over to there and collecting stuff, and they'll be taking it to these places. So the depot has now got its own storage of timber, because that's what these folks are doing. They're producing timber. So these lot are making the chopping up the trees. Now one thing I've noticed though is the trees don't disappear, so it seems to be kind of an infinite supply, or at least from what I've seen so far. As far as the docks go, there's quite a lot of timber there. So where they're going to go? Yeah, just click on a building and it shows you where people are and what they're doing. But anyway, it says click on a house. So what you've got is a series of needs. Now the needs are what basically determine if you can upgrade a building. You've got to match these needs. And we're just starting off with labourers at the minute. If you want to get up to the next tier, then we've got to provide them with fish, we've got to provide them with a marketplace, and then we'll have to provide them with access to rope. So it's nicely structured, I must admit. You know, it's fairly simple. Oh yeah, it's fairly simple, I would say, but I like that the fact that it's got depth to it. Makes it a bit more interesting. Anyway, we need fish, so that comes under needs. So what we're going to now do is build a fishing wharf. Now the fishing wharf doesn't have a fixed location, so we can put that pretty much anywhere as long as we get that green silhouette there. So at least I know you can build it pretty much anywhere you like on the coastline. So I think I'll just put that over there.
Spotted some floating barrels not far from the coast. It might be nothing, but it could be something too.
Okay. Again, this is all going to be connected up. So I shall run a road in that direction. One thing I like about this compared to some other games is you can actually carry on the road. Like with some of the games I've come across, you get to the next road, the level there, and it's like, oh no, I can't continue. But this one's quite useful. I do like that. I can just carry on. And you can bend the roads around if you want. So it's quite flexible in that respect. But yeah, that is definitely useful compared to some other ones. Just a bit of a handy saving time, I suppose. Anyway, and it doesn't seem to have a limit either. You know, with some games, you can only build a road for so far, and then it's, nope, that's as far as we can go. Anywho, right, so there's something over here. I need to pick that. I quite like the little sea shanties, I must admit. Alright, let's go and basically just got to keep... to be honest, maybe it's just me being lazy, but it would be useful. I'm just saying that, I mean, if you could set up a ship that just regularly goes wandering around the lagoon and like picking things up. Because like, there's time where you spend like building things and attacking things, but you still want to get these resources. Because I mean, you know, you're picking up planks and you're picking up doubloons and so on. So it kind of makes sense to keep going out and checking what you can find whenever something shows up. And you don't get, like, at the moment we're being told about what to do, but that's not always the case. So at the moment I'm spending all this time, I want to get on with other things, you know, building my place out. But I'm too busy. I've got to put all my time into this at the moment. This is nothing there. What about over there? Ah!
Well, the barrels were empty, except for a bunch of letters from the British West Indies Company about claiming some island or another. Nothing that mentions treasure.
But we're pirates. Pirates are interested in treasure. Right. Whenever you get interrupted, incidentally, you've got to keep clicking back on your little ship again. Don't see any down there. Right, I'll just send them back over here. Right, so we've got our fish. Ooh, we've got a visitor.
Mary Connor. Here's someone you want on your side in a fight. She's a tough old gal, can hold her own in a naval battle or a tavern brawl just the same. The men all look up to her. She was once at Jack's right hand. He must have done something really stupid to piss her off. Besides knocking off your old man, that is. If we're going toe-to-toe with the former Republic, we could do with her directing our ships and not theirs.
I like the artwork, I must admit. It's really good. I mean, those are pretty serious guns. I like all that. Hey.
John, is that you? Thank God I found you here. Jack double-crossed me. Well, I was trying to betray him first and he found out, so... Anyway, the fair lady's in a pretty bad state. Help us out, won't you?
No, I don't trust you at all. Oh, hold on, Tick. I don't have a choice. Right, okay. Yep, you've got a deal then. Yeah, so as I say, some of it is like, you don't really have much choice, really. Anyway, ships that you've got, they're going to get damaged. You're going to take them into battle. So what you can do is, as long as you bring them reasonably close to where the dock is, you can repair them. And it's going to cost a certain amount of money. It's going to cost a certain amount of planks in this case. So,
Captain, the men reported several ships heading directly for us. Looks like we've been discovered. Let's put the fair lady's firepower to some use.
oh, okay. Now, one thing I'm just going to try out of curiosity, because I meant to look into this. F1, right, so I need to press F1. Because the battles that you get into... Oh yeah, there's a tactical map. The battles that you get into, it's all real time. And for me, I found it was a bit too quick. I can't... Right, I can't do anything. I can't select anything. It's being very, very rigid at this stage. So what I can do is I can press X to go into the tactical map, or you can just click up there. So at the moment everything's pretty much fogged out. It's literally the fog of war. And you can select your boats, so I mean I can select, if I click there it's giving me choices, so you can pick the Fair Lady, pick the Wanderlust and so on, but it's coming close to us anyway. Now I don't have any. Twice I do have a bit of a choice. So I can do a scatter shot, for instance, but I'm assuming that might hit me. So I do scatter shot. So that's good if there's a, you know, quite a flotilla that you're up against. And you notice how these captains are leveling up as they're gaining XP. So she's up to level 12. He's now up to level 7. Now, I'm just going to repair that. I'm curious to see what we get out of these. So we've got some doubloons and some timber.
Thank you, Captain. I think the lads and I are in a capable pair of hands with you. We'll be staying a mite longer if you don't mind. How about a drink to celebrate living one more day, eh?
No, I don't trust you at all. Oh, hold on. No, I don't have a choice. Right, okay. You can join. You can stay. Okay. So, now we're into the next stage where it's saying you need 200 labourers at tier 1. So, yeah. I would have liked if that mouse wasn't so twitchy. But at this stage, you can get up to potentially 10 people in a hut. But the trouble is, they've got these needs, and you're not going to reach that, as far as I can tell, until you start providing them with all their needs. I mean, there's the wants as well to cheer them up, but anywho, we need to build a lot more places. So once you click on a building, you can just keep building that type of building, which is quite useful. I don't have to hold down a certain key to be able to keep doing it. I can just keep building them, so that's quite good. So at this stage, I'm just trying to keep everything pretty close to the marketplace. So if we go out to there, out to there. So leave them to get on with that. So there's other things we've now got now. So there's all those people we've got to recruit. Which, you know, we need the houses for them. We need to provide them with rum. We need to provide them with rope. So the rope and the rum, they're all wants versus the needs. So the needs are at the moment, well, okay, rope is a need. Wants at the moment is rum. So if you want to do rum, well, we're actually into farming sort of stuff you get in these settlement games. So what you can do is build a sugar plantation, and you can build a rum distillery. So what I can do, it's a bit dark, I must admit here, but I've already set the settings up because you get a choice at the start, if I recall, where you can set the brightness levels. But if I want to build a sugar plantation, the idea is, let's say I don't know how far out this is going to go because it's a bit dark. Right. If I click on that building, it's one of these where you then click on the building and then you've actually got to set up, as it says, you've got to then set up the actual fields. So there doesn't seem to be, well, there is a limit as to how many you can have. So it's saying you've got 0 of 72 fields. So that depends on how, you know, how you want to do these. If I just click on it, that's it, that's one field. But if I click once, if I drag it a bit, shall we say, I can get quite a range, which is quite good. I like that. I don't know if there's a, you know, particular problem, because other than the costs, the only thing that holds me back is the cost. So I can just keep building as many as I like until I get to that 72 limit. I'm just trying to see where we're up to. Probably made more sense if I did this during the day. And that there is this game speed, you can speed the game up if you like. I'm just trying to find out where the heck did I start that? Because me being me, I like to... Right, if we put that out to... Right, so that's 72, so I don't know why, but... that's ended up with one... That's gonna bother me. Yeah, that's going to bother me for some reason. Anyway, we need a rum distillery. Now that's the dilemma. Now if I rotate it that way, I can fit it in there. So that's not so bad. And you can zoom in. You know, you can this detail here. I can't zoom any further in. But you can see people wandering around doing their jobs. So it's going to take a while for them to produce the actual sugarcane, I think is what, 71 or 72. Hold on, what if I take that out? So that says 2, so that is, yeah, it's bothering me that. So I could have probably put it in there. If you go out to... I mean, how far out did I go? Oh, wrong one. Thankfully you do get all your resources back. Ah, no, that's interesting. So it does actually scroll. You can actually select more than one sort of area, which is quite interesting. The only drawback is it's trying to catch the actual ones that you want to actually do. So it's, no, I don't want that. Right, I just did a right click to get there. That move that little setting. Right, so if we go that far. Right, so if we put one there, one there, one there, one there. Yeah, that's what I prefer, a nice straight line. That's me being me, right. Right, so that gets us back on track. Now, these every so often they'll start to complain that there's not enough storage. So you can see the building at the moment is limited to material storage of 10. So what I can do is I can pay money and timber and upgrade it. So now it's got a storage capacity of 15. It's going to max out at some point, to be fair. It's just the nature of the game, and I'm not really bothered in the sense that as long as you've got quite a few resources, it doesn't really seem to matter. I mean, I do quite like that you're getting warnings up here about things. So, like, you know, if you're doing good, it's in green. If there's anything you're not doing good on, then it goes to red. So it's quite useful, and it tells you how much of each individual resource you've got, which is useful. I keep pressing the control keys to scroll around, and it doesn't work. I think it's just habit. But the other thing is, yeah, I mean, you can scroll the camera around with W, A, S, and D, but also if you push the mouse out to the edge, it scrolls the map as well, which is quite useful. The other choices you've got, you've also got your tactical map. So you can put the mouse somewhere, just press E to zoom in. At least you can later on in the game. At the moment, we can't really do much because we're very much, you know, bound by this quest thing at the moment. So we need rum, we need rope. Right, okay, so... So we need to set up a hemp plantation. Okay. So if I go and put that one, say, there. Rope. Put that one. Giggles there.
The lovely Isabella Rojas. Cunning, pragmatic, seductive. Everything a good madam needs to be. She worked under Jack for a long time, but he never could see past her soft skin and appreciate the tact and charm underneath. I'm glad she gave that lecherous prick a taste of his own medicine. The brothel girls trust Isabella with their lives, and she does everything in her power to make them comfortable. I think she'll be invaluable to our cause. Just try not to fall for that alluring look in her eyes, you hear?
Captain, I'm happy to make your acquaintance. My name is Isabella, and I have a proposition which might be of interest to you. The man needs a little distraction, wouldn't you say?
And what exactly do you mean by a distraction, I'm wondering? Oh, that kind of distraction. Right. So, now we've got another type of entertainment for these rowdy pirates. So, you can set up a marketplace and you can set up a brothel there. And now this is where things start to fall apart for me, because it's like, well, I built some houses there, but the brothel only has a certain range. It's another range-bound place, so it's like, fudge sickles. Right, in which case, I'm going to build some more houses. I mean, I need more houses anyway. Yeah, I can't drag houses. I can't sort of like click one and then just keep dragging the mouse and it'll build more. Don't work like that, unfortunately. So I'm having to do them one at a time, which is no big deal, to be honest, but just something to bear in mind. Right. I'm going to put more roads in, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of those houses back out again. Right, so I need to press the Q key and then demolish. I'll take these two out, and then we'll get our interesting pirates entertained. So it's one of those games where it's going to be I suppose it depends. At this stage, you don't know exactly all the different varieties of buildings, so you probably find yourselves building layouts and then rebuilding things. And I mean, like this, for instance, it doesn't quite fit. I mean, I can't like put a house next to this one. It's just because the number of it's 4x3, whereas the houses are 3x3s, and so I don't know if I can fit anything which is a 2x3 in there. I don't know. Right, we'll get back to our rope. Yeah. Right, so we need. Oh, I want 4. 72 is divisible by 4. Right, so we'll leave them to that. So I can't put houses there, so I want more houses. Interesting to see. I'm going to check to see how far away the brothel reaches. Because if I click on the marketplace, you can see all of these houses are within touching distance. If I click on a hut, it also shows you, I mean, that marketplace part is full, so they're getting what they need out of the market. They're not getting what they need out of the fish for some reason. Probably because I've only just built it, I would imagine. See, that one's full. Now they're not getting what they need out of rope, and until that gets filled, I can't upgrade them. So I've got to wait for this to catch up. Anyway, I need to go and talk to the madame.
The bordello is open for 1 day. 1 day. And the girl is dead. I will not stand for this. You either kill the prick who did it and make an example of him, or provide protection for the rest of the girls.
So, that's interesting, because you get choices. So you've got a choice here where you provide the protection, but it then it's going to cost you money. You can, well, make an example of them, which needs us to build a decoration. Or you can have a think about it and come back to it if you want. I mean, we're pirates. I mean, we've got to make an example of people. That's how pirates are. So that's what we're going to do. So I need to build a decoration. So basically, if you get up to no good, you go in a cage. It's as simple as that. So there you go. So anybody who comes here and, well, whatever that person, you know, when we find them, they're going to end up here, presumably. Yeah, got to make an example of people. So we've got to wait, essentially just twiddling our thumbs for... Oh, that's quite useful. He's right next to us. So we're just waiting for them to get the rope going. Which incidentally, there you go. So if I click on that, wood logs, that's how much sugar we're doing. And planks that we're doing. I didn't want that one. I want that. So we've got 0 rope. Right, come on. Park yourself over there. So these are... So one thing to point out is that, I mean, you can like prioritize things. It tells you how many people you need. So these particular types of buildings we're at the moment, you can see based on here, it's costing us 20 doubloons for this place, but it needs labourers, this type of building, and we need 20
Jack
of them.
knows where I am and is coming for me. I won't run away again. Let's prepare for his arrival.
Okay. I'll just pause it there. But yeah, I mean, you can tell when we've got labourers, because you go to here, you can see they've all got a different silhouette depending on their level. But at this stage, all we're into is just the basic labourers. You've got choices where you can actually, I suppose if you're running out of people and you're struggling, you can be very specific in terms of like, you can decide where people go, you can set the limit. I mean, if I click on that, it doesn't go anywhere, but I can reduce the number of players. At least I could later on. At some point, I think at the moment I'm just too restricted in terms of what I do until the game kicks in. But again, you can upgrade them. We've got here where it's given us, the option to plant fields there and so on. I do quite like it. It's very interesting. I mean, I do like the looks of the game, and it's very simplistic in terms of the building. There's a lot of other games that have come out over the years that are very, very similar. This one's just got that piracy theme, and as you'll see later, we'll get into actual like fights and so on. Now, I deliberately paused that because I've got very limited choice. You've got controls over time of day, it looks like here, where you can actually set them, which might be interesting. Not something I've tried, but I'm just going to let the game resume because it's saying we need 2 defensive towers. So as well as having your fleets, you can actually defend the place. So that comes under seafaring. So we can build defensive towers because you do get attacked. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these either side of the dock. Now, I am curious.
Jack Howell. What a cowardly shit of a man. If treachery and deceit wore skin, it would look like this prick. Never one to enter a fight with the odds stacked against him, he prefers to meddle from a safe distance. Jack doesn't look you in the eye when he pulls the trigger. He gets someone else to do it, usually a friend. Even with all the crews he's double-crossed or swindled, he's somehow avoided waking up with a dagger in his eye. That's why they call him Lucky. That luck has to run out sooner or later.
So, if you recall, I think there was about 3 bosses, if you will, that was referred to. This is the only one we seem to have any dealings with, and it's very limited in terms of the demo. But I'm just curious to see what happens here, because I didn't have much choice last time I tried this. Yes, there's these big 3 ships now. I don't fancy my chances. Yeah, I've got no control over this. That's what I thought. So you can see where our ships are getting destroyed. So it's like, and then they all run away. So that's it.
Well, don't you look familiar? I'm sorry for what happened to your father. Awful accident, that. Don't let it put any silly ideas like revenge in your head. This archipelago is ours. Make any trouble, and something might just happen to you, too.
Yeah, I was curious. I was going to see
there's
if
no
I could try and control them.
Jack knows we're here. The way I see it, we either pack up and leave, or we pick up the pieces, repair our fleet, and take the fight to the bastards that wronged us twice. What's it gonna be, Captain?
I think we should give up. I think it's just no point. Oh, hold on, take. No, actually, I've changed my mind. We're gonna continue. We're gonna try. So yeah, it's very, very range bound at this point, anyway. But just out of curiosity, yeah, you can. Interesting. So you can actually control that a bit. That's interesting. That. I mean, there's no D as such. I didn't see anything. So I've got a bit more control. If I go to... No, I still can't do that. We're still not at that point where we can zoom out and go somewhere. But that's something you can do within the tactical map once the game gets deeper in. And it only goes so far because it's a demo. You could potentially click somewhere up here, for instance, and then just zoom into that location. We can't do that. I'm pressing the E key and it's not giving me a choice. But that becomes an option, which is useful because, I mean, I'm scrolling out and I can only scroll so far and then we get into the tactical map. But looking at the size of the map, you can see it would be like very advantageous to be able to click somewhere and just scroll there. Anywho, next thing is build a fleet. So if we go for seafaring, we need to set up a shipyard. So this is where we build our ships. So again, this is not a building where I've got to put it somewhere, but as I've found is there's only certain places I can build it where I seem to have the room. So it's a bit fussy. Can I go further back? There. Right, so I could put it, say, there. Put that there. It needs to be connected. So it tells us about the shipyards and how you build them. You get a bit of customization on these buildings when you're actually on the ships when you create them, but the thing is, you've always got to have a captain assigned to a ship. And one thing I've found is you're limited. So when you're just getting started, while we're on this island, we're going to be limited to about 5 ships and 5 captains. So we need to build seafaring. Right, it says we need to build a captain's inn. This is where we hire captains. So down here we've got a shipyard where we're actually building our ships, but we need to set up a captain's inn where we actually hire them. Now that is specific. I've got to put it there. I see that, like, there's the silhouette there. I've got to build it there. So I'll select that.
Any captain worth their salt will be at the captain's inn. Feel free to pick the captain you like the look of. Just remember, you can't have them all.
Oh, okay. Right, I need to hook that up to the road. I'll just go in that direction there. Right, so if we click on here, you can see we've got a choice of captains. Now, the problem, I think, is I can't say, I don't want that captain, I want somebody else. I can't, like, ask for the next one. I've got to keep picking captains. They've all got, at this stage, like, this one's level 3, these ones are level 4. They've all got a different price, and they've all got different skills once they reach levels 20, 30, and 40. So, for instance, that would be useful if you had brigs, brigantines, or frigates, because it looks like she's going to be better at, commanding those types of ships. Trouble is, I'm not into that point at the moment. All we can do, at least in this demo, is to build the cogs or the ketch. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to pick him. He's going to cost me 520. And now when I've picked him, I then get a choice of another type of captain. So yeah, it would have been quite useful if I could have skipped, because like these ones, because I'm limited to ketches and cogs, I would have preferred picking those. I mean, he would be useful, but he's got to get to level 30. They could be useful because they're good at attacking those types of ships. So there's a bit of trade-offs, but again, you've got to get to a certain level. Anywho, we need to build a ship. Now, build a ship, you've got choices. So you've got to click on Start Construction, and then you've got to pick, well, what type of ship do you want? So you've got cogs, you've got ketches, then you've got the brig, brigantines, and the frigates. But in this demo, these are pretty much your only choices, because all the rest of them need cannons, for instance. So we're going to be limited to these two. When you're just getting started, this is the only choice, because we can only make these type of sails. We're not at the point where we can build these improved sails. You can pick out different names for the actual ship. For instance, you've got to assign a captain. We'll go with a cog, because that's the only one I can build. I'll assign him. I can't continue anyway yet, but as we progress, we'll be able to assign different appearances for the folks. So these are the sail patterns that you're going to get. These are the actual logos that you get. These are these ones. These are hull patterns. And yeah, different types of names that you can pick as well. But we're not at the point where we can actually build any sails. So if we go back to construction, we're going to have to grow cotton to pull this off. So I'm going to keep forgetting to do that. Because you can drag these out. So if I hold down the mouse, so that's going to get me the maximum 72, and then I want a sail maker that goes with them, and then I need a row to join it all up again. So if I click on the brothel, that's got, yeah, so you can see that they're just out of reach. So if I click on that and go to the once, you can see that they're not really getting that much in terms of the supply level. Whereas these folks who are right next to both the market and the brothel there, they're getting the best of it all. So yeah, layouts are going to be interesting. So that seems to be about roughly one away, but it's kind of tricky. I suppose I could go that away. I could have put that over there maybe. It's 6 and 2 3s, I suppose, depending on which side you pick. So anyway, we've got to wait for these now. There, as you can see, yep, I was just about to say that. We're just basically, at the moment, all we've got is labourers. These types of people need the actual, the next level up of folks. So if we go over to this building here, they've got all of the needs that they want. So I can upgrade them. Now, if memory serves, it says they need 50. So I'll upgrade some of the houses near to the market and what have you. Right, so that's saying, oh, that's already upgraded. So let's see if we've got all we need. So 22 so far. But once that's upgraded, we're up to 10 of a possible 20 versus 10 of a possible 10. And as probably not be surprised is, now that that place has been upgraded, they've got a whole bunch of new needs, as well as more wants. So it's like, yeah, there's quite a lot of depth to this. Yeah, it's not just a case of like build a little hut and that's it. There's a lot more to it. And there's a lot of professions. I mean, we're only getting into like hired hands. Later on you'll be into smiths and artisans, which I haven't seen in the actual demo. But yeah, there's a lot to go there. So where we at is, at the moment, I'm looking to see, because we need, what, we need 10 sails. I'm going to speed this up, because we need them to grow their cotton. We need them to create their sails for us. So that's quite useful actually. It's actually telling me up at top how many of each type we've got there that are available. So that one's now maxed out. So I've got 10 spare hired hands and 40 spare labourers. So that's actually quite useful, that. So presumably they're just sitting around doing nothing. But this island, I quite like this island. It's a good starting island because we've got, you know, quite a bit of room. And there's other resources on them. If I hover over the map, it tells you, again, you know, what type of resources you'll find on it. So that's quite good. Because the idea is you'll be able to go and invade other islands, and I probably want to just pick out specific ones. Although again, we're kind of range bound in terms of the fact that we're on a campaign here. We're going to be pretty much driven by whatever the game wants us to do. Where is my little ship? Oh, that's a fact. I haven't built one yet. Right. Up to 7 sails so far. I'm not going to build more houses if I wanted to, but... No, that's a thought. Oh yes, I can. I was just checking to see if I can build more of these defences. So we're not, like, limited. We're not limited in terms of buildings and so on. It's not like I can only build a certain number of a certain type of building. It just keeps, you know, do as you please, basically. It really just comes down to how many resources, how much money. I mean, money is currently going down, which isn't a good sign. Right, so, start construction. It's picking up where I pretty much last left off. I'm going to call that the Sea Ghost, what the heck. So I don't have much choice in what I do with it. Other than the name, I suppose. So we'll wait for this to get built. Then we'll see where the take us to next. Right, so we've got one ship. Pirates. Ship ahoy! We're gonna scuttle
Jack
them.
sent a scout to keep an eye on us. Maybe the bastard knew we weren't going to take a beating and fall in line. Let's send him to the bottom of the ocean.
I will indeed. Shiver me timbers. Right, go on. Yep. Right, so we'll click on the ship and off we go. Go and sink that ship. Slow it down. So yeah, this one can do scatter shot. Which you say it's kind of useful if there was like a lot of ships, but because they're involved in action, you can see they're getting XP and the levels slowly going up. So it's quite good. I like that. That's useful. Again, it gives a bit more depth to the game rather than just build a bunch of pirates and that's it. It's in my interests to actually level them.
But seeing that scout ship fall beneath the waves damn near brought a tear to my eye. I think we've got a fighting chance of pulling this off. But we'll need hardy materials.
Okay.
There's a clay deposit on Rat Island that we can use to start brick production. We'll just need to clear out the ragtag pirates that have set up there.
Oh sure, just a few of them, you know, I mean, that's not a problem. So, yeah, that's basically the next step. So, ship colours, yeah, it's just telling you anything in green belongs to us, anything in red is an enemy, anything in yellow will assist nearby allies. So I'm just going to get them to pick up the bits and pieces over here while they're at it. But it's really in my interest to get these repaired. And it's pretty easy, as long as you've got the resources, it's pretty easy to repair them. Just bring them back to the dock here. And then you can fix them. So yeah, we've got so far. Let's repair them. So I'll just pause the game there, because we've got so far on this island. We're now unlocking more and more things. And we're starting to see more of the map. So the next thing to do is to then start attacking this island. I'll actually tell you what I'll do is I'll just unpause it. Because one thing I'll point out is there's these ships here are going past. They're kind of looping around and around, and there's a little dotted line shows you where they're going. So they're literally patrolling around and around. So we're sitting in this little archipelago, little island here, and you've got to be careful of all that, because it's yeah. I mean, at this stage we've got one cog. Now we've got the potential to build up to 5 because we can only have up to 5 captains. And one thing I found is that the cog, I mean, the next type of ship is the ketch. Start construction. So this one's, it's got more firepower, speed, health, and that sort of thing, but it's got another separate speciality that it can put out a smoke bomb to kind of like give you a bit of defenses. So that's quite good for the ships. You know, when you're going to go into battle with other ships, to make it difficult for them to fire upon you. So there's all these different ships will be able to build, all with their own little specialities. You'll be able to build actual fleets, but as you'll find, there's a limit as to how many ships you can put in a fleet. I can't find a way to group them. If I go into the tactical map, I can pick a ship, so I can click on the ship, but I couldn't find a way to, like, say I'm trying to drag and like encompass multiple things. I can't seem to do that. I can hover over. If I click in an area, yeah, it's not doing it at this particular stage because I've only got one ship, but it sometimes gives you like a radial where you can see multiple ships. So you can pick out individual specific ships. We've got, you know, we've got a list of the factions, all the ones that are out there at the moment. And you'll find those, like that one's got a cannon, so that's Squaros. The red one over there, it's got the red skull and crossbones over there, or the red, I think they're just pirates. Yeah, they're just pirates. Independent pirate crews, by the looks of it. See if there's any other types, because there's other ones out there. And one thing I've found is, yeah, you want to be careful of like just sending your ships out, because I find the tactical map is useful, but it's like with all these other ships out there, yeah, you end up with like seriously bigger ships out there, and the last thing I want to do is just take like a small ragtag bunch of pirates out to tackle like a frigate, for example. You've got to be very, very careful. So there's a lot of thought goes into this, I've found. I mean, I'm constantly bringing ships back to get repaired. Well, kind of like what pirates do, basically, where, you know, we're hunkered up in this little island and we'll go out and attack other ships to get plunder. We'll bring them back, and then, you know, we'll grow our ships, but we're limited as to how many ships we can get, the types of ship we can get. But I think there's quite a bit of scope in terms of this. It's very much like other games I've played in terms of settlements. You build, you just basically pick out your building and tell them to build it, and that's it, it's built. There's not a slow process. I'm not seeing a way to get into too much detail in terms of the zoom. But yeah, you've still got a little animation of people wandering around, and you can have a look and see what they're up to. I mean, at the moment, folks are queuing up at this depot because there's just too much to do. So you probably want to make more depots. There's more things we can build. I mean, amenities we're now into where you can start giving them taverns, because if you go to these upgraded ones, well, their wants are, well, they want a tavern. Surprise, surprise. But it's like, at this early stage, we're very much following a campaign. You know, we need to do this, go and do this. Right, you need to do that, go and do that. So it's very much driven. So if you're into the story aspect of games, and you like stories, which I actually really do. I like to have backgrounds. I don't like open-ended games. I've still got quite a lot of flexibility in terms of what I can do. And I'll get more opportunities as time goes by. But personally, I do like a backstory. I like a game. I like to have a sense of purpose. to the game. So it's something to bear in mind, is that it's not a great deal I can do outside the scope of that story, as long as I'm playing a game. It is just a demo, so I don't know if there'll be like a sandbox option where you can then have an option where you can go out and it's you versus the AI, and you pick an AI on the map or something. It's very, very early days, this game. Other games I've played have been very much like that, and I think that's the theme they're following. Where you will get that option. You know, you've got a game where you've got a campaign, or it's an open choice, you against the world, essentially. But it's a pirate theme. That's the key thing. It's a pirate theme, and it's so you can go out. You know, you go out and pick up your flotsam and get resources that way. You can do all of these building. You know, set up your settlements, go out and conquer other islands, because that's what we need to do next. Get resources from them. You are advancing by doing that. The ships out there, so you can build up your fleet and go and attack them. Do literally what pirates would be doing, basically. So I must admit, I am finding it quite interesting. A settlement game with a piratey theme to it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section down below. The game is due out later this year. I got access to an early key to get access to the demo. I mean, no affiliations, no sponsorship, anything like that. It's just a case of, here's a key, you want to have a look at the game, see what you think, basically, I would imagine. And it's, yeah, so far I do actually quite like this. I've got an idea of what direction they're going to go on based on other games I've played, but it'll be certainly interesting to find out. Well, so far in this game, I'd say we've been focused mostly on settlement building, but now we can start doing what the theme of this game is: piracy. Because that's all for another episode.